And with our journey, we're like Henry Fawcett looking for the lost city, and we know we're either on it or walk past it, but we're in a surrounded wilderness with all sorts of unstoppable and penetrable things, and water on both sides of us.
Are we going to admit we need to turn around and go back now?
No, we're going to be like Thomas Edison. When he failed so many thousands of experiments, they said, look, he's had thousands of failures, why persevere? And he said, well, I've got so many thousands of reasons why not to stop trying. And these reserves we're at came about, the Department of Conservation sort of inherited from the time of Lands and Survey. The Bully Point was a Lands and Survey initially imposed reserve, hence they took responsibility for the walkways, the trackways to the place there at Bully Point. This small reserve, it also includes the rocks and that. We go up and this view of the settlement in the peninsula we're going to, and that also overlooks right on top of the cave, the big burial cave that was there. And not only the first Paramount Chief Heria was buried, but many others in the cave there. I don't recall there being pigment markings or tapu markers at all, but that was just behind the old motel and the units and that were there. And so we just having a enjoyable little walk. Enjoyable maybe coming down, but as it says, it's a 20-minute return.
Easy.
And be worth the effort. Back what they borrowed.
So where are we on this map?
We're exactly above here. X marks the spot, the cave, Heria's cave.
Yes.
That's here. I've got all noted out. And here's your highway just below us. And looking across here, here's the marshland here. And on which I've got different sites and features here, and here going over halfway down that spit here, a causeway, there was an old Murray cow. See where that shadow in the lake is?
The shadow.
That shadow on the lake on the right of that spit.
Yes.
Just in there was an old Murray campsite. Now there's a feature that goes from the lake right across the lagoon and possibly extends past, goes right across here. I've got different photos and things of which I left home.
When you say a feature, what kind of feature?
The feature will be something that will be revealed if we can get access through, walking access, and connect to headland, go halfway across there to the mainland, and I'll show you when we go over there.
It's going to be a surprise, folks. That's what we're finding out. There's no heads up on this one.
It's a man-made feature. You could see parts of it extend on the lake this side when the lake is very low. That goes right from the lake where that green shadow is, right across the lagoon. And then there's another one at the end side. Now notice at the end of the lake how the vegetation's different. Why is the vegetation different?
When you say the end of the lake,
the end of the lagoon, and at the headland there, prior to the lake, you've got the headland coming down to Motuoapa, and where it drops right down, just past the lagoon, the vegetation's different. Yes.
Because it was clear felled or burnt off, whereas that around that bluff, it looks like really old bush. In fact, all of the bush around here looks quite recent, 20, 30 years old even. maybe 50.
Look, 1880, you had Kerry Nichol wrote a book, Ride Through the Disturbed Districts. If you can't point that out, I've probably got the book that you can take a photo of for archives. Don't believe what I say, but he remarked, coming right through here, Hātimiru right through here, and he remarked that all along there, all that frontage there, the massive, all along there, that's where the vegetation ends at the end of that spit, connecting spit, and from there, right along in front to that older vegetation were massive terraces, cultivation terraces. And having come Auckland all over the place, they were the most impressive he saw that he remarked and put in his book about the massive irrigation cultivation terraces that went all along there. It might be possible that we could drive so far and then walk along the lake to get that side, but won't know until we see how far the vehicle tracks go.
I wonder if there's a track leading in from there as well.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. And if it isn't, what's a bit of manuka to deter me?
So we're not going to do that this trip, are we?
Well, you're going to Auckland today, so we no. This will be a separate section. But the surprise here is these are the sites I've recorded. These are the sites I've recorded right through, and right up before the hill, you've got the hill at the peak of the hill.
Yes.
But don't look at the peak of the hill, it's what down, and the learned eyes will pick up subtle changes in vegetation.
Yes, I can see that.
That to me picks up relevant, particularly got a clearing foot of the hill there. And that's marks out another site, and over above the lake, past the headland point, there's a significant ditch par there.
Can you take a photo of this?
My SD card isn't in my camera, unfortunately.
And when I get my probably pick up in the morning, hopefully my fixed scanner, I'll be able to do that here.
That would be good.
I thought, but here, this marks another smudge around the lake area.
Yes.
And with that smudge, and behind us further down, because when we leave here, we'll look at the end of the reserve before we head back. So that's what they call Stump Bay here, and the bay here, sheltered position, and connecting that, it's all wetland basically, all the way down toward the Tongariro prison farm areas and that. It's all basically wetland. So this is the connecting, and Motuoapa gives a history of the tribes that were here and how they connect and go through, and had and controlled this area and district, almost detached from Motutere, as Motutere itself, with Robert's family at Hallets Bay, have their own sections and history and hapu groupings. So what do you think of that? So this area cave here is what was the first paramount chief, and many others were buried and placed in. What if TeWhare is down there, the first paramount chief is buried here, and then if you go straight, your eye is straight over from where he's buried, well, the first paramount chief is buried here, what do you look at in the distance of the lake?
Can you see that in the lens, Tama? What he's talking about?
Over past the headland, right
I think
to the
you
headland.
pointed it out once before, Jeffrey.
In line with the poplar tree there,
Yes.
and way in the distance, What are we looking at?
Are you looking at the
corner.
cleared field?
Whangarehu?
No, the headland again bumps up and drops right down to the lake.
It looks like it's got terraces
That's
up the top and down. To the bottom.
that's not in this bay. That's at the other side of the lake.
Come on this side, Free.
So you're talking about on the just behind
poplar?
the poplar tree?
No, way in the distance, about 15 miles away from us. 15 miles away.
Are you talking about the little points, the little kind of...
Way on the other side of the lake.
Yes.
The lake.
Yes.
All that headland there. To know the significance of why people like the Paramount was buried here and not there, Tongariro, anywhere else, is why here. And so that's again a question of contextual sort, because the tribal group here were not TeWhare, but he over there looks at Karangahape.
Karangahape.
That's Karangahape. And on our journeys, this is where, from there, that area got bestowed the paramountcy. The paramountcy and the paramountcy then, by default underlined, became the stepping off place for TeWhare, south of the Waimarino, through his influence. But his influence was a hard struggle, and the people that objected to his mana being bestowed as paramount was the Ngāti TeWhare. And they certainly did not see themselves as TeWhare, but Hirua got the paramountcy from the rangatira there, that when it was offered by the people in this district, he said to them, why, he sent them back on their boats and say, why give me what I already have? But the politics, and that his predecessor for the paramountcy was Rangi Tua Matotoru.
Te Rangi Tua Matotoru. Before Herea.
And he had the dominance, all of the Karangahape in the areas via TeWhare and others. And so by default, rejecting them and sending them back, that Hirua got the first paramountcy through that action.
Wow. Wow.
So they're the poor cousins regarding the pecking order and dominance. And so I'm talking that because immediately down below us is the cave, this burial cave. But now, what acknowledgement, signage, TeWhare, contact, your journey in that, you go to them and they neither want to know and neither will they share, and what have they got to share? If they don't share nothing, why aren't they then cooperating with the information gathering, signage and everything else, and working in, because we're on Dock Estate, and Dock now can't say anything or do anything under their, whether it's artefacts or information or anything, under their dominance and censorship, for want of a better word. But it doesn't stop us as independently pointing out and knowing and that of these places, because if we ever get on the boat and look at the waka in the lake, no, that's not waka, that's mast. That's mast there. It's like Jeffrey's, the mast at the redoubt.
Water there? Are they like nets or?
Well, that's why I say, that's why I point out to you about the sentinel waka. There's now over here, when we go to the far side, the first area of greenery, you've got Taupo over there due north, and the first cleared area there is Whaitaipa Bay. All that.
Yes.
So we all
Oh,
that.
yes.
So we start getting into a very big area, don't we, for the inland sea? Very big area, and that's where we said about the connection with Ruahoata, those areas there, and the sharing and trading exchanges, and the people coming down here, and all this area of lake. Past there, you've then got from Kaipo, and then you go to Kinloch, and then round the corner, way past there, you start going to the Western Bays, and so wonder there were so many the people, and all around the lake one time, just to control and safeguard their areas. So what do you think of that? You're more put off by a Google map of this. Look like you're looking at the interior of the Amazonian jungles, to actually go and find and record all this.
That's why they're all hidden treasures, because you can't see them.
TeWhare at one time wanted to bulldoze all that corner out and turn it into a marina. Why should there be a marina here? We'll do our own caching, and they got a little bit upset by a comment I had to have. So that was another invitation I never got for their Christmas. They come up with concepts, bulldoze a bushman mentality, ruin an area, find it's not feasible, not even zoned or permitted, and then walk away shaking their heads until... But the precious ones we got on this side, we'll see a little bit further up, is the wetlands, Makari, Rangi Te Whare, got for Ducks Unlimited.
Through the wetlands, is there any way to...
Not over there, I don't think. I'm not aware of.
Yeah,
there was a bit of a track and a signage at one time. At,
okay, so Kia ora e te whānau whānui. This is the Taupo Moana Record Keepers coming to you 18th of February 2022. Ko Jeffrey Addison tēnei. We are in the proud company of Perry Fletcher and Te Whaitaima Te Whare, capturing the sound and pictures. Today we are at Motuoapa and we're going to have a walk through the wetlands. Over to Perry.
Yes, well, today we're hoping to have a walk through thicket of Manuka and connect with the headland by connecting. There's a marsh, swamp and spit, which we hopefully can see one or two very ancient features when we get there. If we're not successful going this way, well, there's further down the road and other ways that we'll persevere and get through. I was last here 30 years ago with a group of Sunday walkers and members of the then Tongariro District Society, or Regional There'd be frogs and tadpoles in the creek. Looks as if we can go through this side. Yep. How are you getting on?
Well, we have to go through the bush rather than we'll scoot around the blackberry this way. Yeah, the closer we go there, the harder going forward. Pretty dense spray too.
Well, it is getting deeper.
So what kind of feature are we looking for?
It's the size when you get to it, but that's when we'll wind up and really start to see some mark.
There's quite a way still.
We've got this one,
I wish I had duck feet.
all ready and orange tins there in the water in the lighthouse.
What fun.
I just said I wish I had duck feet.
Jeffrey might be getting somewhere now.
Hmm.
First artifact.
What's that?
Jeffrey's not the first artifact.
Oh.
Look at the markings and the stampings. See, quite an old wine bottle.
Yes.
Not ancient, but do you need a memento?
Oh. No, but it doesn't belong here.
Oh, nothing belongs here. Remember, we are artificial lake level and everything. You can put it back if you want, but see, looking at the stones here, someone's hair. Common nothing to any sort of.
Oh, is it really? Is this a Pinus radiata or?
No, this is a pine, old pine. I'd say it's old pine. Recording.
Yes, maybe Jeffrey can record for us.
Um,
Can you just stand up a wee bit? And just, I'm going to record. I know, just real quick.
Is it recording?
Yes. So this is Tomomai lip balm that we are using to help our wounds that we've just sort of picked up while on our journey to Stump Bay. Can I just put a little bit there, a little bit there. But the main one I wanted to get was this one here.
that was just a very dry, rotted piece of silly wood.
Yes,
That,
silly wood.
And within a week's time, I won't know which arm it is or which head it was.
That's right. So this is Tomomai Balms. This one has castor oil and beeswax in. Available from tomomai.com.
And with our journey, we're like Henry Fawcett, looking for the lost city, and we know we're either on it or walk past it, but we're in a surrounded wilderness with all sorts of unstoppable, impenetrable things, and water on both sides of us.
Are we going to admit we need to turn around and go back now?
No, we're going to be like Thomas Edison. When he failed so many thousands of experiments, they said, look, he's had thousands of failures, why persevere? And he said, well, I've got so many thousands of reasons why not to stop trying.
So what is option 2?
We
We drive.
Well, we'll try an area down the road, and one time we used to drive virtually to the lake and cars could park, but whether we can get there now, and that means that we've got a beach walk, but if willow trees are growing the same this side, that could impede us, especially at the lake at the moment. It's very, very high, which again was another thing that thwarted us in our endeavours to connect up.
Sure.
So we'll drive from here just down the road, and we'll just see if there's another access via a beach area. Not that we'll probably attempt that today.
No, I don't want to attempt that today. I'd rather go and look for the other places while I've still got a bit of energy.
Yeah, yes.
So that beeping stops.
And then you've got to walk along the beach to the headland itself. If there's no and there was never any
Nice
willow
feather.
trees. I mean, I've done it.
But there are willow trees, and it's a very high lake, so it'd be hard to actually walk on the beach.
Yes, but if it isn't, we'd be able to walk along the beach.
I want to go to the caves at
That's where we're going now.
Yeah.
But I just looked, you haven't got a little parking turnaround like you got back here.
Yeah, no, I'd rather just go to this one back here. And
Yeah, so
Come back another
I was
day.
just looking just in case there was something round the corner and you backed all the way, you know. So there
We're literally 30 metres from State Highway 1.
was, yeah, well, that's that
Maybe
for sure
50.
with the raising the lake and everything else. Are you recording yet?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we're recording. We are in a perfect early 19th century to the centimetre layout of a forest. The only difference for this is that it's not a cave pit. It's a whole new definition of a carved out in pumice of a house, a foray, and in it, with its dimensions and size and cover, its roof and its back, and got little vents for them to put their personal possessions in, hang up their cloaks, whatever. And Maori used to sit facing each other to sleep. So one of this size, you put quite a few people in it. And the thing is, all weathers, this would be ideal, all weathers, as well as pouring rain, heaviest rainstorms and that, in the stays they're quite dry. We had the entranceway covered, and there were slots for that, all boarded, and overlooking the lake. And this was one of 5 others, 2 of which were interconnected. So allow so many people per cave foray, and you would have had a small village would have contained and housed equivalent of a small village. Jeffrey calls it Hallets.
well, I'm just trying to look for an equivalent, and there is none. I mean, because I was not aware of our tupuna making whare like this. You know, this wasn't a cave. This was just dug out of the cliff. So it's he whare, you know, whare puni. It cannot be called a cave. Fantastic.
As I say, it's been carefully measured, the face and that, and you get similar ones, not as exact as this, but you get them out at Broadlands, and you get them. You can get them south of here and north of Broadlands, and if you put a ruler on the map, they all form a pattern. They're spaced out about 10 metres away from each other. They're 10 miles away from each other in a northern-southern direction.
Yeah.
Miles, there are certain sleeping caves and pits that could have had a multi-function use for both the local people and for accommodating travellers.
These look like seagull footprints.
Yes, you could get birds. It's fine, dry pumice. It's a clean dust.
Of course, birds would just spot it and swoop in.
So if you want to know what the whare was, the little annexes and coves here, this is, we're no longer got any examples. And the earliest painters from Captain Cook's time on tend to romanticise the artistic licence, but much of the exteriors, but nothing of the interiors, apart from superior, carved houses, which are favourite for artists. So this measures probably the average size I was finding for floor space at places like on top of Motuoapa.
Yeah, so the concept of housing back then, you really only went inside to sleep, virtually, unless it was raining, and even then, if you've got harakeke, flax cloaks, like you said, well, they were hearty people.
They don't have fridges and stoves and
Or TVs to watch,
so it's,
Netflix.
well, I'll just go down and...
Were the other whare on this level?
well, that's why I'm on this level, I believe, and that's why I'm going this way first,
Yes.
and then I'll come down and over there. Seemed to me I had a look, seemed to run out. I have an idea this is number 5. This is our whare number 5, or cave pit number 5, that we got measured with the measurements and that for. I haven't got a tape on me, but
Well, I want to take a photo of you in this Whaitaima Te Whare I Te Whare,
Sure.
of your tupuna. It's like a pure te tomo
many of the
moment.
house pits average 2x3 or 3x4. So I'd say we're about 2x3 in this, quite 2x3. Okay, I'll leave you. If you
Yes.
hear a crash and a bang and a yell,
I'm going to
Yes.
follow. So,
I've got my beeswax, so I'll come and administer first aid if I hear
yeah,
any yelping or...
she'll glue your broken bones back together.
yes, but it might be. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a photo of you in
Okay.
the cave before
Cool.
I go.
Cool.
And,
Follow Gary.
So do you want these bags to take these bags with you, Jeffrey, or...?
Yeah, it's
because we
probably.
might just go so far and be stumbling back.
Yeah.
But I'll try and keep the line because I remember them all as a play. I first saw these in the 1950s, I think. You could see them because they didn't have all this vegetation, everything covering. But
Okay.
whereas the journey with the people didn't know Maori didn't have this and that's a generational disconnect we've got for everything. What's the assumption of was in the young people now of what is and isn't Maori, and you starting to get in quite a different world to what was just taught in the pictures and the drawings and that in schools and that. Very practical, isn't it?
Yes, it
no
is.
rebuilding, no repairing wood and nothing getting burnt down.
Yeah, nothing rots, nothing burns.
So we got traditions and names of certain ones, not of these, that were used for many generations. They're so well preserved.
I'll see you soon. Happy hunting! And watch the old man. Keep an eye on him.
Well, we've just been through the wetlands and back again, and we're at a place where you've been some 40 or 50 years ago, Perry. Can you just tell us a bit about what it was like 50 years ago?
50 years ago, there were 5, you won't call them cave pits, they should have their own classification, unique. They were actual size to the centimetre, size of old forage, early 19th century and earlier forage size, dug in the cider bank. So they're forage, living caves, sleeping caves within the hard pumice banks. Now we've just been to one now, and we've had a careful examination back and forth. I believe it was noted as number 5, and we're at number 5 at the end. And unfortunately all the other 4 are gone, including the first one, which is most impressive. 1 and 2 were interconnected. But by the size of them, the standard stand about ground size 3 by 4 or 2 by 3, and that's typical of forest sites. I measured up top of Whaitaima and at other places and complexes. The only parts of the Whorepuni or the superior houses, 2 of which were at the peak of Whaitaima, and others you'll find in old pa in the settlements. But now, for all of this, millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars have been spent on what they call a site upgrade, or a check on all sites in New Zealand, and early sites, particularly those recorded in mile maps, and councils. The Taupo District Council was about the last reluctantly to volunteer half the funding, and that was to go through all of New Zealand and update all the site records. Now, not one was physically checked out. It was just an office exercise. People used a computer, a Google Earth map, and they didn't know whether the sites existed or not, were ever recorded or accurately described. So had the loss of these been done even beginning, and they noted a recent slip or anything, like so many sites around here being lost, the assumption is something's recorded, sitting in a record in Wellington, so it will look after itself forever and ever. And so this is just another story. But these pits, the pits I call themselves, these whare, these pumice whare that were dug, they're typical of, you get them about every 10 miles north or south direction. And there's another lot at Broadlands, about 7 pits, and similar features. Some are sleeping caves and storage pits, and they fit in the same category as these. I've been trying 2-3 years to get back to them, and these are on Wairaki pastoral land. I finally got someone who's going to go in the Blackberry with a scrub cutter. I could have years ago gone with a slasher myself, just to hopefully see that, like this, there might be one that's still remaining, because they had pine wildlings growing above them whose roots would have been threatened and collapsed them. And my appeals then to Environment Waikato was that they should be quickly removed. This was 20 or so years ago, and I don't think that was ever followed up in time. So the appeals, the warnings and that are given, but if any action is taken, well, you can only plead a case to the authorities and get a nod and a yes, and maybe that's the last they want to know about it when you go out of the door or the room. So these are rare in their type, but not regionally rare. But tribally, they can be quite specific in the journey in that we're doing as a record keeper journey from here to Motuoapa and after. So it's been a hot day, and we've certainly spent a lot of time walking a very short distance. But it seems as if we walked for miles. So I think we're all quite happy to go down and ride out to the sunset. This is the marsh, and there you go.
Is that what we walked through?
No, we didn't get to the marsh. No, we were on the outskirts.
Well, it looks like a very sticky place to be. And this is the feature you're talking about. That was a weir, was it? A net?
I forgot my glasses. Thank you.
Yeah, that's mine. May not balance with here.
So this was some kind of fish trap? Eel trap?
No eels.
Oh, well, that would be very hard to see these days. That would
No, because you're looking, we weren't actually into the open marshland. We never got there. We're just short of there. So that's, and it goes right into the lake. Here's the, here you see that's where we left. There's the cliffs at the back with a lookout here. And we walked around this way and round so far, and that extends into the lake. And then coming back that side and covered over the sand and comes out the other way and going through to that line here. And way at the end here, Jeffrey, that comes round and you can just see the line as it carries on, a bit of an angle off.
Are we looking in this one? Are we looking... what's in the...
No, the way that goes here and it turns and you can follow the line.
Yep.
Carries on so far. So that's in this marshland here. Marshland here when it comes, marshland comes out through. And over at this corner there's another more restricted area over by here. So where I took a previous group must come straight through road track and tracking through here, and that's at the end here, the group at the end here, in Stump Bay, Long Beach. And wouldn't it be marvellous if the lake was low, it was all sand, we didn't have willows, and that is at that end here. So our tentative now with all this jungle is, or growth, 30 year or so growth, is to walk down here and see the beach. And if you get to that end, and as I say, there was something just in here, wooden things in where the marsh ends against this place here, and it well repairs the walk, because then we've got start onto features there that are marked here. So we only got about so far.
So is this feature map marked on this map?
No. I've got many features that don't fit the conventional thing that I've never recorded. No one's archives in Wellington or anywhere else.
So what do you think the function of these were for?
Well, what did you first say it was?
A fish net, fish weir, or something to herd either inanga or... I don't know, but they would have had to have been woven with harakeke as well as that. You know, they couldn't have just been those.
My oldest informant, who saw them 1920s, said that they hadn't changed at all, the water and that, to just keep them preserved. And so they're exactly the same in his day. We thought they were very, very old there. A better opinion is that annually, and we go, when I talk about the records, and we'll go a bit to records, the missionaries, when Best saw them, very critical of the missionaries when he caught up with them at Motuoapa there, he said, and he remarked on all the walk back here, the thousands and thousands of ducks, a multitude of ducks, despite the Maori population, there are immense numbers. And annually, when they're in molt, like at Rotokawa, they got a special pointed time, and then they drove the ducks. And if this was all netted and ringed at that, it could well have been used for that.
To herd ducks into and then grab them.
Yeah,
because they couldn't fly.
They couldn't in the molt, and that's why the same method that they worked out. Doing
That's clever, isn't
It's
it?
unlimited.
Ducks Unlimited, and there were unlimited ducks there. The person 1841, he couldn't get around a multitude of ducks there were. There were. So it's another little another feature. It's quite remarkable, and we'll talk about the explorers that came before us, and like Deffenbach and Best, and their contact and communication with the people, and almost the overnight distorted view that the missionaries had almost overnight among the local Maori, which turned them more antagonistic to their neighbours than they hitherto were before the missionaries told them who they should and who they shouldn't.
Hitherto were. Isn't that a nice saying? Hitherto.